Hey guys, what's up? It's me again. Um, and today I want to talk about how you can deflect and almost become immune to nasty behavior of other people. And I know that in certain cases it can be very, very difficult and very challenging to not be personally affected by someone doing something nasty or negative or behaving in a certain um, bad way towards you, right? Especially when it's like partners or people you really care about or your parents or, people that have like a strong emotional connection with you. But also in these cases, what I'm going to talk about is applying, and maybe even more so. But for me personally, it can really help to whenever someone says something nasty or gives a gnarly comment or a nasty remark or does something to maybe even deliberately try to hurt you, it's important to be aware that this is happening, like realize that they are acting nasty, and then realizing that I'm not saying that you should approve of what they are doing or accept their behavior. You should not. If somebody is acting disrespectful towards you or doing something that is not nice, then you should be able to communicate that and draw a boundary. Tell them like, hey, that was really not nice, or that was not fun, or I didn't like that you did that. You should tell them in a respectful manner. Stay calm, but another way when you don't feel like you're in the position to actually like tell them, or maybe it's a dangerous situation or whatever, and you feel uncomfortable to call it out, the behavior, then what helps me is to realize that this person trying to hurt you or trying to bring you down is doing this from a place of lack. They're doing this from a place of pain, of fear, of anger, of frustration. So whenever somebody deliberately tries to hurt you or bring you down, it means that they are at that level. They are suffering. They are struggling. They are not feeling good inside their own skin, and they then need to bring other people down in order to feel good about themselves. And that is a very sad place to be in. It is a very, very sad place to be in. And I feel sorry for those people, I can like really feel sorry for them, because I realize that if you are happy with where you're at in life, if you feel fulfilled, appreciated by your friends, if you have things going for you, you're working, you're going to the gym, you're being active, you're taking care of yourself, all these things, if they're in place and you feel good at where you're at, and I'm not saying like all the time, right? But things keep you busy, you're in a positive mind state, you're in a positive kind of place inside yourself, then you don't feel the need to bring people down. You don't feel the need to be nasty and gnarly and say ugly things or do ugly things. You don't want to do that because you're not in that vibration. And I know it sounds a little bit ethereal and esoteric, but it is like that. Like there is different levels of emotions and vibrations that how would I say, like, are on the same level. They differ, like they talk about higher vibrations means more positive emotions, and the lower vibrational stuff is like anger, guilt, shame, all these things, like they're lower on the ladder, and you can move up the ladder, and when you do that, you will feel less need to engage in behavior that has to do with these lower emotions. And that's what I mean by the vibration. Like people who are in a very negative place, they are in a low vibration and they try to bring people down to that level. And I'm not necessarily uh, talking about all the spiritual woo-woo stuff and the hippie stuff, and I know it might sound like that, but I do think it's a useful concept to work with, to realize that, okay, right now I'm in this negative space and I have a lower vibration, and I will resonate with other things that are resonating at this frequency. So I will attract people who are more negative, or I will complain more, and this will cause other people to flock towards me who are also in that mindset and who are also complaining a lot, you know. And if you then move up the ladder and you raise your vibration, if you want to call it that, and you move to like more gratitude and joy and happiness and fulfillment and purpose, then you will behave differently and you will act in a different way and you will attract different people, right? Because the people who are there resonating with the gratitude and the joy and the fulfillment and the purpose, they will gravitate towards you when you're also in that mind space. And the negative parts, they will not be drawn to those, right? So whenever somebody is deliberately trying to hurt you or says something to make you feel upset, which I talk about in another video, can be very helpful for self-development as a tool, and also can be a good situation for you to learn more about yourself. But whenever somebody does that deliberately, or maybe even not deliberately, or maybe they are doing it even subconsciously, they're finding themselves in a lower vibration. They're trying to bring you down to their level. And for me, it sounds a little bit like this elitist kind of thinking, you know, like, oh, people are up there and they're trying to bring you down here. It's not in the sense of I'm elitist and I'm the elite and I'm above you, I'm better than you. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is the fact that these people, they're suffering. They're having a difficult time accepting themselves or accepting a certain situation. They're struggling, they're feeling shit, and they're trying to get rid of that feeling by bringing others down, by talking negatively, by complaining, by doing nasty things. And by realizing that, you can then move from a reaction and maybe even making things worse or resonating or vibrating at that level of frequency. You can then move out of that and move towards compassion and understanding. And I'm not saying acceptance, like, you know, like telling that their behavior is okay. You should not accept their behavior as it is. If it's nasty or not nice, you know, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that by realizing that they are doing this from a place of lack and negativity, you can then turn around the way you see what is happening, and then you can show compassion. And you don't necessarily even have to tell them, like, I feel sorry for you. But if you feel it inside yourself, it's going to cause you to not react to what they say. You will just be like, oh, whatever, just leave me alone, or you will distance yourself from them, or it will like reflect, you know, they say something and it will not hurt you, it will not go inside yourself, like it will not strike your heart as much, because you understand that they are doing this from a place of suffering. And then you can show compassion, and this can be so healing for these people, because maybe they have been inflicting damage and pain on so many people the last, I don't know, months, years, whoever knows how long, right? And then other people, they act all upset, or they engage with this negative behavior, and things go back and forth and make things worse, etc., etc. But if you react in a compassionate way and you're like, I am so sorry that you had to say that, or that you had to do that in order to make yourself feel better. That is a very sad place to be in, and I hope you know that I don't want you to be there. I want you to get out there. I want you to feel more fulfilled and less in pain. And when you can show that, you don't necessarily have to say it like that, but when you can show them that you see through what happened, and you can really understand that they do it from a place of suffering and pain, that is so valuable, and this can be so healing. Some people I've met, and I talked to them like this, they were amazed, and they all of a sudden they realized so many things, and they were so grateful and thankful that I was not engaging in the negativity. I just called it out. I said, hey, that is not nice, and I think it's very sad that you're in a place where you feel like you should do this in order to make yourself feel better. Let me suggest some other things that might help you to feel better instead of inflicting damage, because there is this energy inside you and you're trying to get rid of it, or you're trying to suppress it, or you're trying to, and it's gonna express itself one way or another, and you can choose to express it through creativity, through kindness, to compassion, or through judgment and negativity and nasty comments and nasty behavior. And if you can show people that they have a choice and they are able to act differently, they don't have to act in that negative manner. And some people, they're not ready to hear this, and that is alright. Sometimes I am not even ready to hear that, right? Sometimes I'm in this place and I'm stuck there and I cannot get out, and I actually maybe even don't want to get out because I'm holding on to it too much and I'm feeling all this resistance, you know? And then I don't want to hear it from someone else. Like, tell me, like, hey, you should let go. I know, but I don't want to, or like it's too confronting, you know? But you have to allow yourself to go through those phases, and then when you're in the phase of letting go and accepting everything, then you can move to a higher level. You can move to gratitude, you can move to purpose, you can move to meaning, compassion, kindness, all these more positive oriented emotions and feelings and thoughts, right? And by being there, this is again something that I talked about in earlier videos, your doing allows my doing. So by being compassionate towards people who are negative and causing damage and wanting to cause hurt and wanting to bring down people, by showing compassion and understanding and support, it's so powerful. And you show them by your doing, by being compassionate, by being understanding, by acting like you are not affected by their negativity. It deflects, you know, it doesn't hit you, it doesn't hurt you, you see through it. By allowing them to experience that, by your doing, you allow their doing, and it might be even like a very transformational experience for them, or not, and that's also fine. I believe that if I act in that way in such a situation, it is the best possible way to act. And even if it doesn't cause them to change, well, then at least you provided them with an opportunity to change, which is as valuable as the change itself, right? By providing them with an opportunity to change, you can then allow them to make a decision and to actually change. And this is what you want to do. You want to facilitate positive change in people. You want to make sure that they have the opportunity to act differently than they're used to. And by creating this space, by creating this opportunity, that in and of itself is extremely valuable and even very healing for these people. Maybe even they don't know it. They just process it subconsciously, and that is also very valuable. Maybe it might instill a thought in their head, or they might become a little bit more aware. Like, even if it's just a tiny little bit, you made a positive impact on this person. And if you think that they're too far in that space and you feel like you can't reach them or you cannot help them, then it's okay to also distance yourself from it, right? Like, let them say whatever they said, and then you realize this is not okay, I don't like this, this is nasty, this is ugly, I don't want that. Then just slowly distance yourself. Don't cause any drama. Don't engage with this behavior. Don't say nasty things back or start an argument. No, just be quiet. Tell them, hey, that was not nice. You can tell them like that, very, very firm and strict and respectful, and then distance yourself. Just remove yourself from the situation, or talk less, give them less attention. And that way you will dissipate the energy, and they will either look for another victim or understand that they cannot get away with it anymore with you. And that is also very, very powerful, because this is something else. You have a large amount of control on the way people treat you. Like, if you allow them to treat you badly, it's you who allows it. Like, it takes only just one moment to say, hey, this is this is it. You gotta stop here. This is my boundary. By drawing that boundary, in and of itself, it will change the way people treat you, because they are always looking for the least amount of resistance. So if they can, I don't know, get away with a certain behavior with one person, and the other person, they can also get away with it, but this person eventually draws a strict boundary, they will say no more, then there is too much energy required to continue doing that behavior with the person that drew the boundary, so they will just continue with the other person. So they will immediately stop behaving with you like they did before, simply because you drew the boundary, right? If you never draw the boundary, if you never tell them, I don't want this, I don't like this, I want it like this or like that, if you never tell people, they will assume it's okay, or they will assume they can get away with it, and they will continue doing it. So it's your responsibility to tell them this is not okay, and I'm not going to put up with this, and I want this to change. And then they will, in most likely, they will just stop doing it. It's like when you tell someone, hey, I want you to be on time, and they don't respect your time. Well, then you have to be firm about it. You have to tell them, okay, next time when you're not on time, I'm gonna leave, and this is the last time we talk, or the last time we agree on meeting somewhere, right? And then you gotta this is a very powerful saying. The best negotiation position is being able to walk away and mean it. This is something I got from Corey Wayne, and it's actually, many people talk about this, but it's so true. The best negotiation position is saying no and mean it, and then walk away, right? So you gotta be completely alright with telling this person, hey, I value my time, I value myself, I respect myself, and I want you to do the same. And if you keep coming late, that means you don't respect me and my time and my values. So if that is what you want, then I will no longer communicate with you. I will no longer make appointments with you because you don't show up on time, and I need you to show up on time. And then walk away and mean it if they next time they're late, and then just let it go, right? There's other people who are worth way more your attention, because they actually respect what you ask from them, right? And being on time somewhere is not this crazy request. It's just a simple wish, and that shows that you respect the other person. So you know, like, sometimes people are like, oh, you're asking so much of me, or this is unreasonable. It's not, and it's just them trying to move the boundary and to see how strong you hold it, and you got to be firm. You got to be firm. And so to return back to my original point, is that when somebody is trying to hurt you deliberately, just try to look at it from the perspective of how they're in a bad place and they're trying to make themselves feel better by bringing others down. And that puts you in a position of power in a way, because you are immune to their attempts to attack you, to hurt you, because you can deflect it with compassion and kindness, and you don't even have to tell them. You can just inside yourself absorb their negative energy and deflect it with compassion and kindness and understanding, and knowing that, oh, it's so sad that they have to act like this, that they have to behave like this in order to make themselves feel better, because there is so much more to life that can make you feel good about yourself, you know? And it's just about finding out what makes you feel good about yourself as much as possible without hurting others. And there's so many things, guys. Like, for me, it's been a long journey, and I have been trying to figure out what I care about and what makes me feel good. And it's really simple things, like going for a walk, recording a video for you, talking about stuff that I love to talk about, helping others, eating a nice meal, going for a run, going for a workout, calling a friend, writing something, you know, being productive, making money even. Sometimes it's nice, it feels good to be able to know, to make money and to take care of yourself, and then because for me, money, it symbolizes freedom, you know. I don't care about being super rich. That's not what I want. I don't want all the status and the material stuff. No, money means freedom. So I can decide, okay, I want to go there right now. I can pay my flight ticket or my bus ticket or whatever, and I can find accommodation and food, etc. So by doing something that generates money, I work on myself and I work on achieving my freedom. Like this is something that Mouth of the Ape also talks about, and it's a personal goal of mine as well. I want to have as much free time as I can, as I possibly can. I don't want to have to spend too much time earning money, because to me all the things that bring me joy in life usually are not connected to making money. Going for a walk, it's not going to make me money, but I don't care because I enjoy the walk, right? Being in nature, having sex, connecting with someone, stuff like that. It's not going to make me money, but I don't care about that. So I want to make sure that the money is taken care of, so I have as much freedom as I can. So that's just a little side note on finding things that make you feel good about yourself. And there is usually deeper layers, like making money for me is fulfilling because it allows me to be more free. It can be the same for you. So think about these things, like what makes me feel good and why does it make me feel good. And it's not always necessary to think about why does it make me feel good. That's not really the point here, because walking in nature, why does it make me feel good? Well, yes, it can be feel cool or interesting to think about that sometimes, but try not to get stuck in there. I mean, I'm just also talking to myself because sometimes I get stuck there, the why, and more thinking, and it's also necessary to stop the thinking and to just experience, to just enjoy whatever is happening in that very moment. And that is something that I have spent a lot of time working on, and I believe it's very valuable to be aware that all the thinking necessarily doesn't necessarily add to your life or your experience. It can add in many ways. Thinking about stuff, being more aware, learning things, it's all part of the process. And it's also important to realize that it's not always necessary to go the next step and think more and ask more why, more often why. Sometimes it just is, and you gotta accept that. That's why I put this one on my arm today. It says acceptance, because I think it's so important to learn to accept. And in this case, to go back to my original point, accept that people feel bad and want to make themselves feel better, and they do it in ways that are not always the best way or the most humane way or the most loving, kind way. And accept that that is part of reality. You don't have to accept their behavior. That's not what I'm saying. But you gotta, I think, accept that this is what it is, and you have a choice in how you deal with these things, and you have a choice in how you will respond to whatever negativity that comes your way. And I believe that by adopting this mindset, you can make yourself almost completely immune to all this negativity. Not always. It's gonna hurt sometimes, and you're gonna take it personally sometimes. But most of the time, if you really ingrain this in your system, you will not take it personally, and you will realize that it's they who are suffering, not you, and they're trying to bring you down to their level to make themselves feel better. So anyways, I hope this helps. I hope some of you are maybe inspired to change certain thoughts about certain people or situations. And thank you for being brave. Thank you for looking inward. Thank you for making yourself and thus this world a better place one step at a time. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.